Well, good Friday to everyone. This is John Miller with Friday Devotional, and I'd like to direct your attention to the book of Ezra in the Old Testament. The person of Ezra was a scribe, and he lived through the Babylonian captivity when the southern tribe of Israel was captured and taken by Nebuchadnezzar to Babylon. And then other kings came in, kings of the Medes, the Persians came in to take over the Babylonians. And Israel is living in a very pagan society as basically captives. Well, as time went on, they were allowed by these kings, Darius the Mede, Artaxerxes, who came along, and they were allowed to go back to their land and rebuild the temple, called the Second Temple, because it had been destroyed with the war there, and rebuild and even rebuild the walls. And they were given all that they needed by the pagan kings. This is the sovereign work of God. And Ezra the scribe has been allowed to go back, and it's encouraged the people because he wanted to bring the people back to the relationship with Jehovah that really many had lost during their time among the pagan nations for those 40 years. And there are some parallels with even today as we live in our own Babylon, in pagan societies, desiring to live and to honor God with our life, and not capitulate or compromise to the thinking of the world, have it penetrate the church, which it seems to do so often. Ezra stood for the Word of God. He had procured what was available of the Old Testament scriptures there. And there's a verse in chapter 7 in verse 10 that to me is fascinating. And it it reads like this, if I can get to it here. Ezra 7 verse 10, it says, Ezra had set his heart. I want you to notice the sequence of what he had set his heart to do. Ezra had set his heart to study the law of the Lord and to practice it and to teach his statutes and ordinances in Israel. Just want you to notice the sequence there. He set his heart to first study it and then to live it out, to practice it in his own life, and then to teach it. So I love that because the tendency today is to just learn something or read something quickly and then start telling other people about it. But are we living it out? Are we living out our faith? Are we demonstrating by our life what our lips are saying? And that is crucial today in a world that has, well, it's always lost its way, but it feels like we're living at a time where even Christians are losing their way. It's like we've been in Babylon for too long, and we need to get back to the promised land, to truth, to hear the scribes, and to be an Ezra type person who practices what he or she preaches. We got to live out our faith. It puts much more power into our speaking it and teaching it. And if you're a parent, this goes a long way in the fact that we can tell our children how to live, and we can point them to scriptures and how to walk with God. But unless we're living that out in our own life, they're not going to buy it. I think it's interesting, and I just close with this, that in the New Testament, with the book of Luke, or actually the book of Acts, and Luke is the writer, Dr. Luke, the historian, is the writer of obviously the book of Luke and also the book of Acts. And Acts 1:1 is an interesting statement as Luke writes to us and of course to his friend Theophilus. And in verse 1 it says, the first account I composed, which was the book of Luke, the first account I composed, Theophilus, about all that Jesus began to do and to teach. And there it is again, that Jesus lived it before he taught it. He demonstrated the truth of his words and the living of his life. And that's for you and me today. Are we living out our faith, or do we just tell people what to believe, or why to believe? And are we a walking demonstration of what we say we believe so strongly? So that's just some thoughts for you on this Friday, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.